In this video, I'm going to have spoilers for Season 1, Episode 5 of The Witcher. It's based on the short story by Andrzej Sapkowski, The Last Wish. If you don't want to hear spoilers about it, click away now. On the Linus Wilson channel, we cover fantasy TV such as the Netflix's The Witcher, the prequel to Game of Thrones, or medieval fantasy shows. In addition, I've read all the Sapkowski books, all 8 of them, and played through the Witcher 3 and Witcher 2 video games, and we do some tips on those games too. And hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss our next video. Okay, The Last Wish is the story where Yennefer of Vengaberg meets Geralt of Rivia. So this is where they fall in love and their relationship starts. So up until this episode 5 of Netflix, Yennefer's storyline and Geralt's storyline have been going in parallel tracks and have not intersected. So it was only preparing for this video that I realized why Dandelion is called Dandelion. He'll be called Jaskier in the show, but in the English translations and in the video games, he's called Dandelion. And the reason is because people make wishes on dandelions, and Dandelion is making wishes to the jinn or the air genie in this short story. So a lot of Sapkowski's names, Andrzej Sapkowski is the author of the Witcher books, are ironic, and we'll talk about some more of the ironic names within this story, The Last Wish. So this story is going to be Season 1, Episode 5 of the Netflix series, expected to premiere in December 2019. Here on the Linus Wilson channel, we have spoiler leaked videos on the 4 previous episodes, which will feature other short stories from the Last Wish collection of short stories, including The Lesser Evil, The Edge of Reason, The Witcher, and A Question of Price. You're seeing some video from CD Projekt Red's Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt quest called The Last Wish, which takes place many years after the events of this short story and the TV series. Like this Sapkowski short story, it is about Geralt and Yennefer's battle with a jinn or air genie. The story starts out where Jaskier or Dandelion and Geralt are trying to fish for their supper. And Dandelion comes across a vase which looks very interesting, and he thinks there's a jinn in it. And so he opens it up over Geralt's protests and starts making some really silly wishes. And the jinn comes out, this red mist comes out and attacks Dandelion and hurts his vocal cords, which of course Dandelion or Jaskier is a bard, and that's his living, and his neck is red, and he's obviously injured. So they need magical medical help, and so they go to the city of Rinde to get that. But they have to wait until morning before Geralt and Dandelion can enter the walled city. Once they enter, Geralt deposits Dandelion with this elf Cheredin at Aradil's inn, and they meet this half-elf named Raitmere. Then he proceeds to where Yennefer, the only sorceress in town, is staying, Yennefer of Vengaberg, at the Novigrad merchant ambassador Beau Barant's house. Now, Beau Barant has a doorman named Cerberus, like the, three-headed dog of Greek mythology. So Cerberus is the doorman. He's kind of an oaf who Geralt ends up bribing, but Geralt uses the sack of coins to hit Cerberus over the head. Geralt finds everybody asleep because it's like dawn, and he finds Beau Barant in the basement trying to get apple juice for Yennefer. Barant is barely clothed, if clothed at all, and is obviously very, very hungover. And he actually passes out, and so Geralt takes the apple juice up to Yennefer in their bedchamber and gives it to Yennefer. But his smart aleck quips with Yennefer get him a lightning bolt, which he blocks with his sign Quen of protection. Yennefer takes a bath and then proceeds straight to Dandelion, who she cures, and he's left dreaming with sweet dreams related to his not so PG wishes. With Dandelion cured, Yennefer wants her payment, which was unspecified. Now, the backdrop here is that the sorcerers, sorceresses, and mages in general are kind of in a lockdown in the city of Rinde, and Yennefer teleported them to the inn because she cannot walk the streets, right? So she's a persona non grata, kind of, but she's still doing her magical medical services and still making money in the city, but she just doesn't have a free reign of the city. So she's got a kind of contentious relationship with the city fathers. So she paralyzes the Witcher Geralt, and the next thing he knows, he's in jail. And so we get recounted the things that he did for Yennefer when she was controlling his body. He was humiliating anyone who had ever insulted Yennefer. The apothecary Laeral Nose was publicly spanked by the Witcher. The story is recounted to Geralt by Cheriden, the elf who admits he has kind of a thing for Yennefer. When the guard starts beating up on Geralt, he says to him, "I wish you would just burst," and the guard does. So this is our first hint that maybe the wishes went to Geralt, not Dandelion. Geralt is brought before the mayor Neville, and Neville is actually kind of sympathetic to Geralt's things that Geralt did, because Geralt kind of humiliated Neville's political rivals. But when they're in with Neville, the mayor, the bard Dandelion or Jaskier comes in through a portal. He says that he wishes everyone present to believe that the Witcher is innocent. Thus, Yennefer's trying to get him to use his third and final wish to save Geralt from the consequences of her prank. And, of course, Jaskier admits that it was Yennefer that put him up to this. So before they can decide what to do with Cheriden, who was also part of Yennefer's prank, and Geralt, a commotion is going on from the inn, and it looks like a storm is going to break apart the entire town. So Yennefer had tried to tame the djinn, or air genie, herself, and it's not going very well. So Geralt runs in to help her, and that also doesn't go well, but she creates a portal which she wants Geralt to go in, and he grabs her and pulls her in. So they fall into the middle of a banquet table, and then they go back to their work trying to tame the genie. So Geralt at this point realizes that it's him who has the seal and him whose wishes the genie is granting. So his first wish was the incantation that he put on the djinn, and that actually was kind of an obscene phrase in a language that Geralt didn't understand. The second one was bursting the guard. So he has his last wish to let the genie free. So that's why the genie is upset, because Geralt has not released it of its last wish. Now, his initial reaction to Yennefer was that he thought all sorceresses were ugly, angry girls. And he realizes that Yennefer used to be not as beautiful as she is today, that she was a hunchback. And he decides that he really loves her, and so his last wish is that Yennefer and he will be in love. That frees the genie, and Yennefer and Geralt make love in what is left of the destroyed inn. Subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. We have spoiler leaks, plot leaks, and analysis for all of the Witcher Netflix episodes that'll come out before the season premieres. And we also cover tips for the video games too. This channel covers medieval fantasy TV such as Game of Thrones and The Witcher.